Will you place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
May I please escort your honor? Good morning, good afternoon. This is the case of Mr. Jonathan Frederick. He is currently being supervised for the offense of possession of a stolen vehicle. He was sentenced in Horry County on May 6, 2024 by the Honorable Judge Hyman. And that brings us to today's violation. He currently has a warrant with our agency for failing to report his change of address. I spoke with his father on October 23rd, 2024, and he informed me that he no longer resides at his address of 1006 West County Line Road in Hemingway. He provided me with a phone number at that time for Mr. Frederick. I spoke with him by phone and told Mr. Frederick to report to my office on October 24th, and he failed to do so. He also failed to follow up with his substance abuse counseling referral. I spoke with a receptionist at Williamsburg Behavioral Health who informed me that he was not in their system, and he also failed to pay his fines, his supervision fees, his restitution, and his court fine. He also has a citation because while he was absconded or failing to report, he picked up a new charge. So based on the public index, he pled guilty to the offense of drugs distribution of methamphetamines on February the 7th, 2025 in Horry County. Now that is a second conviction since he's been placed on probation.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge. And Judge, Mr. Myers has asked, Mr. Frederick has asked to address the court at the appropriate time. But, Your Honor, I've talked to Mr. Frederick just briefly. I've let him know that based on the prior conviction, that most likely the court will most likely violate him, Judge. So I'd ask for Mr. Frederick to be able to address the court, and
Okay.
at that point I'll have some comments.
I just want to say, the violations, I do admit to them. They wasn't intentional. My new charge, the possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine, I caught that charge while I was in the police van being extradited to the jailhouse with 3 other people. They went after I was booked in. They found drugs in the police vehicle, and they charged everybody in the vehicle with that. I did plead guilty to the charge because I know if I would have sat in J. Ruben Long Horry County Detention Center, I would have been sitting there about 2 or 3 years trying to go to trial. So they came with an offer, and I took it because it was freeing me. You get what I'm saying? And
What were you in the police van for in the first place?
because I had an active probation warrant.
From Wisconsin.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And with that being said, I pled guilty to it. They was gonna dismiss the charge, but I ain't been wanting to wait because, as you can see by my indictment paper, I got my sentencing sheet that the jury couldn't even indict me. I had to waive it to the jury and took the time that they gave me. Other than that, I can complete probation. It's just hard to do it in the Williamsburg County area where my address at, because there ain't no jobs. With me being a convicted felon, there ain't no jobs. It ain't no jobs in the Hemingway area. So I be going to Horry County because there's more job opportunities, resources within resources, and my daughter is located there, and I'm trying to be in my daughter's life. So while I was locked up, I wasn't wasting no time in the county jail. I was taking courses, like I can show you, like the judge said.
Your Honor.
I was taking courses to better my life, especially like being a better father, because I just come from prison. And I'm trying to build a relationship with my daughter because she needs me and I need her. So what I'm asking is, if you decide to send me to prison, there's no rehabilitation in prison right now. They short of staff. It's more drugs in prison than it is on the street. It's violent. And I asked if you do reinstate my probation, can you modify it a little bit so it could be a little better? And I wish you can transfer me to Horry County because it's, once again, it's more job opportunity. It's resources within resources within resources. And my daughter is located in Horry County and I get to be in my daughter's life. And that's all. I'm just asking you for you to give me a chance.
Where would you live if I transferred you though with you?
I got
There's also more drugs down there.
And I would
yeah, but I don't do drugs.
I can say something. So this is the same story that he gave the hearing officer back in September, that Horry County is better for him. Now, since then, he has picked up another charge. So every time he picks up his charges of drugs, it's
What's he
in Horry
picking up?
County. That's the district, the one that he,
One he said he was in the police van and found
yeah,
drugs in the van.
right. So I also included that incident report. So it does not say that multiple people was in that van. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you. I can only go based off of this incident report. Also, because he resisted arrest, so something happened with a vehicle, and he came back, dropped the vehicle off. At that time, when they spoke with him, he took off running when he found out he had active warrant.
Okay.
Sir, with that being said, I pled guilty to possession with intent to distribute, and they dismissed the other charges because that officer that charged me with resisting arrest and other drugs, it wasn't true. So that's why they dismissed the charges. The last time I violated, that charge gone. That charge was just dismissed.
No, you got a time served sentence on that charge for 100 days, if I'm not mistaken, 103 days back in September 20th, 2024. That's why I said this would make the second conviction that you had.
Sir, with that charge, I was sitting in a vehicle with a female trying to help her because we was in a Myrtle Beach area that was dangerous, and I was sitting with her, and the police came to the scene because the store was closed. And they searched the ground, they found drugs in a Newport package that was on the ground and charged me with it. That's how that came about. And all I'm asking is just give me a chance. Chances make
How
champions.
much of chances and you keep getting in trouble?
Judge, his original sentence was 3 years suspended to 18 months probation. I believe he got 67 days time served. So he's got that 3 years hanging over his head. Judge, I would ask, based on the story, the court to just consider closing out his case. The probation said he's not a good candidate.
I would vote 18 months and terminate it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can I get also ask for a civil judgment on restitution and court fines?
You won't take that, but you can get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
May it please the court, Your Honor.
Yes.
Before you, Mr. Craig Dwayne Tucker. This is case number 2024 GS 450117. Your Honor, the charges of appointing, presenting a firearm, murder, and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. Your Honor, he is represented by Attorney Virgil Barr. We were previously before you last year in regards to this case. At the time, Mr. Tucker was only charged with attempted murder. A bond was held in abeyance until we received the autopsy report to confirm it was murder. There was some skepticism as to whether or not Mr. Tucker was the cause of death of Mr. Canty. And this is the fifth motion to have a bond reconsideration in this matter.
Okay. Has the victim been notified?
We do have the next of kin noted here in court, Your Honor, Ms. Mashonda Williams.
Okay. Then tell me a little bit about the facts again. Tell me about his record.
Your Honor, back on July 14th of 2023, Sergeant Dunmore with the Williamsburg County Sheriff's Office responded to Washington Street in the Hemingway area of Williamsburg County in reference to a shooting that had occurred. Officers were advised when they arrived on the scene that the victim was being transported personally to the emergency room. Law enforcement was able to locate the patient and were met by a witness, Mr. Jamie Canty, who stated that Craig Tucker shot his nephew near South Carolina Highway 4151 and advised that he observed the incident but also fled to the subject firing in the area he was located in as well. As medics were working with the victim, Mr. Joshua Canty, he too stated that he was shot by Mr. Craig Tucker. Mr. Canty was shot multiple times in the upper torso and in one of his hands. Officers conducted several interviews in this matter. They spoke with an informant who stated that the incident occurred and showed officers that he was the one that called 911. He stated that everyone was hanging out in the neighborhood on Harmon Street at an area where they go to get food and drinks, and stated that Mr. Tucker and his brother Antonio began arguing. That's when Craig walked away down Harmon Street. When he yelled out something, the next thing he heard was 2 gunshots, and he took cover. He noticed that more shots rang out after that. That's when Mr. Brown noticed Joshua running towards them saying, I'm dead, I'm dead. And you could clearly see that he was shot in the hand and in the stomach area. The informant also stated that Joshua did not have a gun on him, and Joshua's family helped him into the vehicle so that he can get medical attention. Mr. Canty was shown a photo lineup while he was at the hospital receiving treatment, and he did select the photo of the defendant, Mr. Tucker. In regards to his criminal history, just back in 2010, he had a petty larceny.
Okay. I'm probably glad to help you make a family tell me.
She does not wish to address the court at this time.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, before you is Mr. Craig Tucker. He's 32 years of age. And Judge, we were here on bond motion a few months ago. And I believe at that time, what we were told is that if the case wasn't called by a certain time, the court would consider granting a surety bond to Mr. Tucker, who has been continuously detained now for about 18 months, I believe. But the solicitor can fact check me on that if I'm incorrect. Judge, if he were to grant him a bond, he would go to the Georgetown area. He lives with his mother. Before all this happened, he was working at Tupperware in the warehouse. He's a graduate of Carvers Bay High School in 2010, and then he went on to Horry Georgetown Technical College where he did some work there. He does have a 9-year-old daughter. Now, Your Honor, we understand there's been a loss of life. We understand that. We understand these matters are very, very serious. But Judge, based on just Mr. Tucker's background, he has very limited criminal history. He has a petty larceny charge. And Judge, there are some facts and circumstances with this case, and this is one that will need to be tried. There was a time, or I won't say a time lag, but there was quite a bit of time from when this incident happened to which led to the filing of the charges later on. But Judge, we'd ask for a reasonable bond. Mr. Tucker has said before he's been in for 18 months. We do understand that this is a case. Mr. Tucker, he's maintained his innocence, and he has in his right to have a trial on this matter, which I believe we will be trending towards that. But in light of that, Judge, we're asking for a bond for Mr. Tucker, and with any restrictions that the court sees fit to put on it.
All right. I'll set a $75,000 surety bond with GPS monitoring if he can have no contact with the victim's family. After 90 days, if he is in full compliance with his monitoring, you have a right to come back from the court to reconsider the monitoring. He cannot possess any firearms, and he can't leave the state without permission of the court.
Thank you, Judge.
This is Christian News TY. I'm Tony Carney. Is there any newsworthy events? We will get them to you as soon as possible. If not, you can follow us on Christian News TY Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube, and you can follow us on our website.